x squared minus 2x minus 63 equals 0, we can use our factoring, right? Our 5-step method, break it down, factor it out. But what if it's not factorable? Now, this one looks like it's factorable, but we're going to use this one for practice with a new formula. Our formula is called the Quadratic Formula. Okay? And this quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? Whereas, here, you can go down here. Whereas, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay? So, we have a being your first coefficient, b being your second coefficient, and c being your third coefficient to any quadratic. Okay? So, what does that mean? Well, that means I have a, b, and c. Okay? And as long as it's equal to 0, I can solve. So this is a solution to the problem. And normally we would break the problem down, factor it, x, x. This is here. This tells me they're different. Product and sum tell me that I have 63 and 2, and this is the difference. So I know that I need two numbers that multiply to be 63 that are 2 apart from each other. So that would be 9 and 7. Right?
Yeah.
So we always put them in big number first. So 9 and 7. Because the big number wins. So this sign won this sign. Okay? So, and that equals 0. And so then I'd have, x minus 9 equals 0, and x plus 7 equals 0. So x would equal 9, and x would equal negative 7. Therefore, x equals negative 7 and 9. So that's the way we used to do it. Chapter 5. Okay? The way we're going to do it...
So I need to pay attention to that?
Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Now, you don't have to do that on this test, though.
Okay.
We don't have to factor for this test. The way we're going to do it is I'm just going to take this and go, okay, my answer should be negative 7 and 9. That's what my answer should be. That's after going through this whole mess, right? Mess of stuff. But I don't need to go through all that. I can do it a different way. I can put it in this thing. Negative b, which is negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b, which is negative 2, squared, minus 4a, which is 1, c, which is negative 63, all over 2 times a, which is 1. Okay? So, when I do this math, when I plug it into the formula, I get negative and a negative, which makes it a positive. Good. So 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared, or negative 2 squared, so that would be 4, because negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Minus and a minus make a plus. Okay? So plus 4 times 63, or 4 times 60 is 240, right? And 4 times 3 is 12, so 252. Did I do that right? Sometimes my math isn't quite up to par. Brianna usually checks me out on that. Just making sure. Alright, all over 2. Alright, so now I do the math. And that's why obviously we've been working on these square roots so much. Is because now we need to be able to deal with square roots. So, 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus that is 256. Oh my goodness. Who remembers my whole spiel on 256? Anyone remember that? 256, binary code. Computers versus Nintendo versus Xbox. Yeah, okay. I knew as soon as I said a video game. Oh, I remember that. Okay. So, yeah, I got to break 256 down. So we do it the same old-fashioned way. 256. So 2 goes into there how many times? 128. Or, you know, Xbox down to PlayStation, down to 64, which is Nintendo, right? Down to 32, which was like, was it Super Nintendo or was it like
Super Nintendo.
some other weird? There was another one. What was that weird device? God, it came out. It only had a few games.
Probably
Saturn. Sega. Yeah.
Oh, Sega. Okay.
2 goes into there. How many times? So now we're down to Atari, right? Or like some, maybe the first Nintendo, the 16-bit. And then there was Atari, right? And then there was always Pong, right?
Yeah.
So that brought us down to 4-bit, right? And then 2, and then 2 and 1 are done. So how many of them are there? There's 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, 4 pair. Or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 times 2, which is 16. So now I have 2 plus or minus 16 all over 2. All right, here we go. We're going to come over here. I'm going to erase this part that I broke it down with. I'm going to rewrite it. So that's 2 plus or minus 16 all over 2. Okay? And now I'm going to do the math, right? So I'm going to go in 2 directions. 2 plus 16 over 2 and 2 minus 16 over 2. Because that's what the whole plus or minus thing is, right? Remember, when you take a square root of something, you could have, say the square root of 4, what is it? 2. Or negative 2. Because what's negative 2 times negative 2?
4.
Right? So that's why we have to have the plus or minus of it. Okay? So, now we got 2 plus 16 is 18 over 2. And we have 2 minus 16, which is negative 14 over 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. And negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. So again, x is equal to negative 7 and 9. Okay? So, that's our method. Obviously, this was a nice, clean, neat method, right? Alright, let's do a problem where it's not so clean.